We've identified the problems, but what about the solutions? I think our friend Paulette sums it up best.
When the economy is good, nobody wants to think about unemployment. So if somebody says we should upgrade the unemployment systems, people are going, well, why? The economy is moving along really good. Why would we do that? Well, because if you don't do it when the economy is good, it's not going to be appropriate when the economy isn't good.
A lot of people have suggested the answer is to upgrade the technology. Well, in July, the state legislature approved $55 million for system upgrades to the Department of Labor. But is that really the answer?
That makes a great media story, that you've got this 30 and 40-year-old system, it's old, and we've got all this new stuff, and we should just replace it. That's not the right answer. The world is littered with failed systems that just didn't work when that happened. I think organizations should say, okay, how do we deal with what we have, and what is our goal? The goal shouldn't be a new technology system. Our goal should be, what is the best way to meet the demands of our citizens, clients, and constituents?
If you look at the states that have spent hundreds of millions of dollars fairly recently, those states are having the same problems we're having for their claimants. So quite frankly, I think the computer or system failures have been because the unemployment law itself is so complicated.
So, can we make the technology better? Sure. But throwing money at the problem and hiring consultants isn't going to fix everything. We need to look at the whole system, the technology side and the legislative side.
The biggest thing that trips up claimants is the weekly certification process.
So one of the first questions is, we trying to look for work? And as I was furloughed, I put no. When I find out from that, you're not answering the questions right, you're not going to get unemployment.
And those things are what trips up, to the tune of 5,000 people a day at the height of this pandemic, just from answering a question, I don't want to say wrong, but adversely.
We may also have to think about updating our tax regulations to properly fund the system the way it was designed to be. When unemployment was first passed in 1935, employers had to pay a tax on employee wages, but that tax was capped at $3,000. So, even if an employee made $5,000, you only had to pay tax on the first $3,000. Believe it or not, if you were making 5 G's back then, you were balling out of control. The average per capita income was roughly $500 a year. By 2015, the average is $55,000 a year. But that federal cap has only been raised to $7,000. Unemployment is an extremely regressive tax. For example, in California, the employer of a software engineer making $125,000 is being taxed at a rate of 0.29%, while the employer of a fast food worker making about $20,000 a year is being taxed at a rate of 1.76%. When it comes time to collect, the software engineer is able to collect much more from the system than a minimum wage worker, even though they basically contributed the same amount. This is a complicated issue. I'm not going to pretend I have all the answers. I'm literally going to forget everything I just said when I leave the studio. I actually can't wait to leave this studio. But the main point is this. We need to take better care of the system in good times so we're always prepared for the bad times. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. It was nice to meet you.